taking the best elements from Lucasfilm Limited's Star Wars movie, the engaging heroes, the horrific aliens, the terrorizing Imperial forces, the thrilling flying and fighting, the strange settings, and the mystifying powers of the Force, and adding interactivity. Players can choose to be Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, or Chewbacca to do battle with the dark side of the Force and determine the fate of the galaxy. Super Star Wars features 14 levels, each crammed with huge detailed graphics and smooth, realistic animation. Super Star Wars is a hit. From the burning deserts of Tatooine, the maze-like interior of a sandcrawler, the Mos Eisley Bar, to your final confrontation with the awesome Death Star, all the action from the movie is here, but the outcome is up to you. Do you have what it takes to take on the Empire? Find out with Super Star Wars, available now.
The pop culture phenomenon that is Star Wars first appeared on our cinema screens way back in 1977. It spawned 2 sequels, making it the most successful trilogy of all time. It was almost inevitable that arcade games would follow suit, and the first came in the form of Atari's seminal Star Wars Vector arcade system. To this day, some fans consider this the definitive Star Wars game. It was followed up in 1983 with the seminal Return of the Jedi arcade machine. It took the form of an isometric side-scroller, and as you can see, the graphics were vastly improved from what came before. The year before, in 1982, the Atari 2600 finally gave way to the very first home video game of Star Wars in the form of Empire Strikes Back. As you can see, the graphics are quite crude by today's standards, but in fact the gameplay still holds up. But that wasn't the end of the story for Atari 2600 players. No, they also had Jedi Arena. Again, although looking very crude, it was video game players' first interaction with using lightsabers. It wasn't until a whole decade later, in 1992, that we finally got something that players could really dig their hands into. Super Star Wars on the Super Nintendo was the first game to really give us an immersive Star Wars environment, as seen here with the Mode 7 graphics. It was followed up a year later with Super Empire Strikes Back, another seminal title on the Super Nintendo, this time with even more advanced graphics and sound design. In 1994, the final installment of the video game trilogy finally arrived with Super Return of the Jedi. So with all that said, let's get straight into Super Star Wars on the Super Nintendo. Hey guys, how y'all doing? Here we are with Super Star Wars on the Super Nintendo. I've been so looking forward to playing this with you guys. We're just going to be doing one level in the Snes Megabytes. Going to be looking at different Snes games that I really loved over the years and that I think have aged really well. For episode 1, here we are. I wanted to play the first level. Man, this is a tough level. You got to keep shooting above you. Man, I've got so many great memories of this game. I remember when this came out, my friend Simon Caffrey and I, we were so hyped about this game coming out that we would buy all the Super Nintendo magazines like Total and Computer and Video Games and keep up to date with it. And when it actually came out, we were so impressed with the music in the game, as you can hear in the background, that we actually hooked the game up to Simon's hi-fi system and we recorded it because we thought it was that close to the actual movie music, the real orchestral music done by John Williams. And I tell you what, just listening to it now, obviously it sounds dated, but it really does sound good. I think it made the most of the Super Nintendo sound chip. And that's one of my favorite things about the Super Nintendo is its sound chip, and I think this game is a really great example of that. Now these little green dudes here, they are really difficult because they just hop everywhere. Now once you get that Hype Blaster, things get a little bit easier, but you've just got to keep making sure that you hold on for dear life and get all those hearts, because if you don't, you're dead. You can see my meter up there on the lightsaber. And this is on the planet of Tatooine, obviously. Now, you're going to see a few guest appearances from a few characters in this game. At the end of this level, you may recognize something not from this film, but from Return of the Jedi. Now, just here is the worm, as you can see. God, this guy was so tough to beat. Honestly, that worm keeps popping up in this game every so often. And these scorpions, oh my god. You just gotta keep going, trust me. Now, obviously, the developers took liberties with creating things for the extended Star Wars universe. Almost way before the novels did, I would think. And I guess developers carried on doing that with games like TIE Fighter, Shadow of the Empire on the Nintendo 64. Okay, here we go. Let's get up to the top of this hill now. We got bigger scorpions, as you can see. This first level, I think, is a really good taster of just showing you how difficult this game is. And trust me, it gets more difficult. But there's so many little nods to the film in this game, which I love. Okay, we're coming near to the end of the level now. So let's get these last few. If you guys have played this game, please let me know what you thought of it. Okay, here we go. Here's the final boss. Now see if you recognize this big dude. That's right, it's the Sarlacc pit monster from Return of the Jedi. That's the thing that nearly killed Lando Calrissian and nearly swallowed him. I love that scene with Boba Fett and everybody and when it belches. Okay, this thing is actually really tough to beat. You've got to distance yourself from those rocks so you can shoot them when they land. Because if you get too close, you'll just get hit by them. Now, I'm kind of struggling here a little bit with my health, but there you go. I've done it. Woohoo! There we go. That's the first level done of Super Star Wars. Well, guys, thank you for watching. And until the next episode of Snes Megabytes, keep playing.